Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today, we will be going over my first impressions on this brand new iPhone 17 Pro I picked up about 2 days ago now. And by the way, this is going to be coming from somebody that is switching from a 12 Pro Max to an iPhone 17 Pro. So some of the first things I noticed immediately, just coming off the top of my head, they talked about how the camera is better, and to be completely honest, I don't think it's that much better to my 12 Pro Max. It does seem to be slightly clearer, and it does seem to do better in darker environments. Like if I go do the same exact shot that I'm doing on my 12 Pro Max right now to record this part of the video, you can see it is handling these darker environments much better and less grainy. Other than that, in lighter environments and stuff like that, the camera does not seem to be much of a big difference. But the next thing that I actually really like about this phone is it handles everything on iOS 26 much better, as my 12 Pro Max can barely handle iOS 26, obviously, as it is second last supported phone to run iOS 26. And it's getting up there with the iPhone 11. Probably, maybe by 2027, they'll probably cut off the 12 Pro Max. We'll have to see. I do really enjoy ProMotion, the 120 hertz, and it just overall is a much smoother experience. The battery life is significantly better on this thing, and very much better. I haven't gotten this thing to drop below 50% each time I use it. I mean, obviously I'm charging it back up. I probably shouldn't do that. It's probably not good for the battery for longevity reasons, but I'm charging it anyway. It hasn't had a single charge cycle so far, so that is good. But I mean, the battery is significantly better, and my 12 Pro Max, I mean, I've been using this thing for at least 5 years straight, so I mean, it does make sense that the battery on my 12 Pro Max does suck, which that's not even surprising. It's at 77% battery health on here, and compare it to my 100% on this thing, but that's besides the point. It overall just feels a lot better, and I know it does have a way bigger battery, and also has that new cooling system for the battery. I'm not sure what it's called. It's vapor chamber or something, but I do really like that. And now let's go on to the design, which, I mean, here is some of my problems with the design. I overall really like how this looks. I really like how they did the camera this year, and how the overall design looks. They round everything off sort of around the edges while still kind of keeping this square frame. I like how the camera looks, but there is some issues that I've kind of quickly noticed while using this, and a lot of other people have already noticed this, Jailbreak Everything has talked about this.
However, the sharp corners, like the ones you see here on the iPhone 17 Pro camera plateau, are the literal Achilles heel of anodizing. It's the weakest point of the coating, since there's not enough substrate or aluminum at that sharp corner to securely hold the top aluminum oxide in place. And Apple went and made the literal sharpest cliff possible here on the iPhone 17 Pro. For some reason, Apple didn't add a chamfer, fillet, or radius around the camera plateau, and I think it was intentional, so it looks cooler. But that decision to look cool out of the box is going to plague everyone who owns this phone down the road. And I'll show you physically what I mean. Let's say you have your phone in the same pocket as a coin. Pretty normal everyday situation. The exterior level 9 anodizing layer is able to withstand any abrasion from that coin, except for on the sharp corner of the camera plateau. The corner of the plateau is rubbed off and gone. What about keys though? We've tested keys on anodizing before, and everywhere the oxide has been allowed to secure itself to the aluminum is protected from scratching, except for the sharp corner of the camera plateau. Again, after one incursion with a foreign object, that corner is now gone.
There's a big lack of chamfering around this camera here, and that makes it scratch the aluminum very easily. I bet if this was titanium, it probably wouldn't scratch like this, which is kind of another problem I have with this. I mean, it's probably better for cooling to not use titanium, but I feel it makes the device overall just more scratch resistant. I mean, of course, I had to get a lens protector. I had to get a clear case. So, I mean, I haven't really had a single scratch so far, but I do anticipate that to happen sometime in the future if I actually drop it very hard, or if I take it out of the case, which I probably will not do. I've never done that with any of my phones, where I just take it out of the case because I'm bringing it everywhere. But yeah, that's something I did notice with this. I ended up not going for an Apple clear case. I mean, people say they are always better, but with my experience with Apple clear cases, they end up yellowing just as fast as third-party ones. So I just went and bought an OtterBox for like way cheaper than an Apple clear case, and it'll probably last longer. But if this thing will eventually yellow anyway, and I'll probably just get like a D brand one, because I did see a cool D brand. I think it's gonna call it like the Ghost case or something. I do really like how that one looks. And now onto liquid glass on this thing in the Dynamic Island. I really like Dynamic Island on this, and I haven't experienced the Dynamic Island once before, because obviously I've been manning a 12 Pro Max for a while now. So I mean, I really like it. I like what it does. I like how, like, when I'm listening to music, I can just exit like Spotify or something, because I use Spotify, and it just sends the music up into the Dynamic Island, and I can tap on it if I want to see the music without having to like bring down the lock screen. I think it's a very cool feature, and I do really like it. I overall think it does look better than the notch, which I mean yeah, and it's much more convenient overall. And now about liquid glass on this thing, I noticed the parallax effects on liquid glass have now really been restored on this thing, because on the 12 Pro Max it lacks pretty much all of the cool parallax glass effects. Like, it'll show like the outlines moving around when you tilt the phone and stuff. That is completely not on the 12 Pro Max, which I mean totally makes sense, because if it did, the thing would probably run horrendous. But I mean, it already does. They might as well just let it run horrendous. But I mean, that's another cool thing about this. Like, the detail about that looks very cool. And I ended up being forced to actually update this thing during the setup, which is very annoying. And just because I'm doing a transfer on it, and I didn't really like that. And I ended up doing that anyway. So I'm probably going to keep this on beta, but if like they ever do add a liquid glass slider, I'm probably going to update it to like a later version of 26, because this thing shipped with like 26.1 or 26.2 if I'm not mistaken, just based on when this was manufactured. And to be completely honest, just because of how bad iOS 26 is optimized, I would not want to keep it on. If I had it on like the release version of 26.0, I would not want that, to be completely honest. Despite maybe it bringing down the rarity of this device in the future, which I'm probably not going to bring this off of iOS 26. If I'm going to update this thing, I'm probably just going to update it to later versions of iOS 26, and I'm not going to update it to iOS 27, I think, would be the next one, to be completely honest, because I feel like this is not a very ironed out operating system, and it is not worth it to keep it on 26.0 just for the longevity of this device. It'll probably cook the battery overall because of how poorly optimized iOS 26 is, and I mean, it'll probably get progressively better as this thing is updated on later versions of iOS 26. I mean, I hope at least. 26.3 beta, which was what I ended up having to be forced to update. So, I mean, I probably could have gotten around that, but I don't really care. I don't want it on 26.1. 26.1 fucking suck. And yes, I know I am a collector, and I usually like the lower versions, but please do not X me. I'm daily driving this thing and using it for videos. I need this thing to run and function well. I can't like have this not work and be extremely buggy, and I mean, updating it is probably going to end up fixing that. I'm not updating it to 27, so I am going to keep it on 26 on its first version, but I don't think it's worth it to keep it on 26.0, to be completely honest, or 26.1, but yeah. And now onto Apple Intelligence, which, I mean, it's okay. I'm not going to use it. It's not like the best AI ever. I don't think it's very good, so I don't really see a point in using it. To be completely honest, I'm probably just gonna use what I already use, which is ChatGPT, and I don't even use AI much, to be completely honest, other than to make a complete meme cancer. So I don't know what I would use that for anyway. And now on to my first impressions on whether it is even worth getting. If your carrier is Verizon as of December 22nd of 2025, I believe you can get a 17 Pro for almost free, which is what I ended up doing. So, but any other thing, if you're not Verizon, I have no idea anything about any other carriers, which I end up having to switch to Verizon because Spectrum sucks. If you're any other carrier or you're buying it directly from Apple, do not get a 17 Pro or Pro Max. Get the normal one. Get the normal 17. This year, that is probably the best value phone out of any other of these, just based on what you get. You get ProMotion, you get the two 48 megapixel cameras, you just don't have the cool zoom on the new Pro, which I forgot to mention. The zoom is amazing on this thing. You just don't get many of the other crazy features like the vapor chamber cooling battery, which, I mean, I don't really think that's going to be much of a difference. And it is the same size as the 17 Pro. And yeah, I would just get the normal one this year. I would get the 17 if you are after a new iPhone, if you're not already switched to Android. So, yeah, this has been my first impressions on the iPhone 17 Pro that I got 2 days ago. If you enjoyed this video and found it interesting and or helpful, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you're notified when I come out with brand new videos, and share it so someone might also find this interesting and or helpful. Also, check out my social media accounts, which I'll have linked down below in the description and on the end card. This has been Derek from CertifiedLegacy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.